I dedicate this video to all of my brothers and sisters out there who are feeling lost and disappointed with where their lives have ended up. This is the tale of how I, 25-year-old Hispanic Colombian man, has gone from graduating from a top university to working at Walmart. All right? And just before I move on, just want to make clear there's nothing wrong with working at Walmart. They're the top employer in our country. All right? So a good amount of people in the United States work here. Okay? But it's a problem with me and the expectations I had for myself. As I ask myself this question, do I approve of who I am? Do I approve of how I'm living? And if I don't, where do I change from here? And where do I go moving forward? So, before I can answer a question as big as that, let me tell you a bit about my past, about all of the expectations, all of the fantasies that filled my head based off of the youth I had. The blessing I had, because not everybody was so blessed to have a promising childhood. All right? Because I don't want to sound needy and ungrateful and like a little bitch. All right? But this is just my truth that I'm going to share with you guys, and you do what the fuck you want with it. All right? Because the truth is the truth, and how you respond to it is your choice, not something I can control. So in my youth, I grew up upper middle class family. We had money. My parents grew up poor, but they worked really fucking hard, and now we had money. All right? I had divorced parents, blah, blah, blah. We don't got into that, but in school, I was decently smart. I was in the gifted program. I could slack off and get good grades. My teachers praised me. Da 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 da. Okay? By the time we get to high school, still a decently smart kid. Fell behind a little bit, Didn't even do homework, but not enough to destroy any of my dreams. Okay, any of my goals. When college acceptance came around, I was accepted to University of Florida, the top ranked public university in Florida. And this is where my journey begins. I said no. I said no to all of the colleges that accepted me. I decided to stay home and go to community college because I didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do with my life. Okay? And I'm not going to go too detailed on everything, just a quick timeline of how I've gotten here. And because the last year is what's most important. I then spend my years in community college. I'm pretty much coasting. I pick up the habit of smoking weed. I discover mushrooms. My world opens up like it never has before. Give me one moment. I'm going to sit down. And something to define this period of time is that I, in a sense, was just sleepwalking through life. I had this notion that the American dream, things are just going to figure themselves out. Okay? Because what I was studying at the time was computer science. And in those, so I was computer science, going to community college, and ready to transfer to the University of Central Florida. Why University of Central Florida? Because I was ranked as the best computer science program for a public university in Florida. And I had family that went there. It just made sense. I didn't really think much of it. Didn't really care. Because why? Because if I'm being honest, I didn't really care that much about my life. I was just sleepwalking. Okay? I hadn't really... Why was I studying computer science? It was simple. I read on the internet that you do a computer science degree, you come out making six figures, and I can do shit like working on video games, virtual reality, all these technology things that I grew up loving. Okay? Doesn't sound like a bad deal. But in these years in community college, I didn't learn how to program for shit. There wasn't really many classes on it. Most of my classes were on mathematics. Passing that. Okay, mathematics and a few sciences like physics, chemistry, and biology. and a few electives. In my mind, things were just going to work themselves out. Oh, I was going to learn programming when I got to university. Oh, I was going to learn this when I got to university. Oh, when I got to university, I was going to start working hard. All of this. But life hands you a reality check really fast. Because when I got to the University of Central Florida, I didn't start working hard. I didn't bother learning programming. Spoiler alert, I cheated my fucking ass off, all right? I withdrew from programming many, many times. And when I finally did pass intro to programming, guys. Simple ass shit. I cheated. Cheated. Eventually, I changed majors, obviously, during COVID. And I switched to management information systems. Ultimately, this was not a decision that my heart was in, but it was a decision my mind was in. My mind was comfortable with this, all right? Because when I decided to switch, I had outside pressures that wanted me to make a decision quickly in the fear that I'd go nowhere in life, okay? A fear that ultimately was implanted onto me. And spoiler alert, that didn't fucking matter anyways. I graduated, okay? I did what others told me. And I'm exactly where the people who were trying to guide me didn't want me to end up, okay? And the reason why this matters is because I still beat myself up about that decision to this day. Instead of giving myself the time to truly do something for myself, I decided to people please, do something for the approval of my parents rather than the approval of myself. The approval of myself. This is where this all leads to. So let's skip forward a bit, all right? I transferred to the University of Florida State, I never really go in that hard. I never spec that hard in my classes. I do enough to pass. I really don't bother looking for internships, okay? And all of this contributes to being in a fucked up position when I graduated. Because now, or on paper, this is a decent degree. This isn't sociology. This isn't a liberal arts. This isn't art itself, which, by the way, I would have loved to have done something in the arts. But I was told it was a waste of time. But you know what's really a waste of time? Is living a life for the approval of others. Okay? So fast forward, 2023 December. After a long time, it was a lot of turbulence. All right? I wanted to drop out many times because I was aware, very, very aware. When you do things like open up your mind, take magic mushrooms, smoke a lot of weed, introspect all day, you know what's going on. You know exactly what's going on. But these drugs give you a veil, all right? They give you a little bit of an escape from how your life is going and where you're going, okay? So when I graduated, finally, I went back to my dad's house. All right, I had a college degree, and I had a nice 2021 black Honda Civic. Only 2 years left I had to pay on it because it was a lease. But I was in such a unhappy, unmeaningful place, not wanting to, there wasn't a job offered to me coming out. Did I apply a lot? Not really. I did apply, but I didn't apply like a demon. I didn't make it my everlasting mission to find a job in that field that I studied. Why? Because I had no drive for it. All right. I don't know about you, but I think foresight's a skill. True. I have no way to know what's going to happen in the future. And sometimes life surprises you. But when you know your heart, when you know your soul, there are things you don't have to do in order to know you don't like them. And the reason why I say this is from a conversation with my father. He told me, how do you know you're not going to like a job in an office? You know what I thought? I thought, how do you know you wouldn't like sucking a man's dick? Yeah, how about that, bitch? All right? Of course I didn't say that to him because there wasn't a need. Or maybe I just didn't want to hurt his feelings. That's probably it. Okay? So anyways, I'm in this position. I'm considering many options, and then eventually I'm working at a barista. I'm working as a barista, just letting the days go by. And I'm thinking, okay, should I move out here to Oregon? Should I do this? Should I do that? And ultimately, I came out here to Oregon for two reasons. One, to get as far away from the approval of others. Let me rephrase that. To get as far away from my parents, from the people, from all the expectations on me, all the voices, so I could just live how I want to live. Find my truth. Find the expectations for myself. Reason number two, I came out here in search of a dream. You know, I've wanted to make YouTube videos, make content, share my soul, share my opinions about art, about the human experience for a long time. It's 2025 now. It's been at least 7 years since I've wanted to do this, and I've always procrastinated on it. Okay? And I thought to myself, I just got to do something. Like, I got to put myself through the trial of fire. All right? Because I need something to talk about, because living back at home with my dad with this, these are the things happening. My soul is drying out. My soul is drying out. My creativity is nowhere to be found anymore. And two, I live that path long enough, eventually I will just end up walking down the paths that others want for me. All right, eventually I will just get that office job, that sales job, and then kill myself at 54 years old with a memoir that nobody's going to read. Okay? So I didn't want that life, so I left. I traded the car in. What did I get? Like $500? No car. Had my friend, a few $1,000s in my bank account. We came to Oregon. He moved to Portland. I moved to Hillsborough with some friends. And out here, guys, how did I end up working at Walmart? Because I still had options. There's still better jobs than Walmart. I fucked around, guys, because when you leave, you bring your problems with you. You can go across the world and you can't escape yourself. So when I got here, I had a few $1,000s in savings. Still had to pay rent from day one. And was I spending that time looking for a nice job, hustling, really going out there? I wasn't. I smoked a shit ton of weed. I smoked so much weed that I got tired of it for a while. Okay? I was lazy, all right? Lazy. If my dad is watching this, if my mom is watching this, I was lazy. What can I say about it? There's no changing the fact that I was lazy. I can't rewrite history. And eventually, time and money ran out. I got desperate. I got to the point where I wasn't going to have enough money to pay next month's rent. And when you get desperate, finally, things are going to change. Like, a fact of life is that, you don't necessarily want to do it the way I did it, but if you want to change your behavior, sometimes it takes a situation where you have no choice but to change your behavior. So I went out. I knew there was a Walmart about a mile away, and I went in person. I applied, and I got the job next week. This was August 2024, and I'm still here today now. I'm struggling to survive for most of my time here. I'm struggling to survive while also wondering, where the fuck do I go from here? Okay? And yeah, I put myself in a hole. I could have, what I wanted? I wanted to buy a motorcycle. That was going to be my mode of transportation. And I could have. If day one, I just would have went out, done my motorcycle license test, and then bought a motorcycle. And then I would have had more transportation available to me, and I could have had a better job. But I put myself in a fucked position. And what I want to leave off on, back in the beginning of the video, it's been a while, I think I forgot, but we're talking about self-approval and control. So the first thing I want to make clear, ladies and gentlemen, is that I have control over my life. I want to make that clear to you, and I want to make that clear to myself. I am in control. Okay? So, yeah, things haven't gone the way I wanted. This and that happened. All right? But I'm not fate's bitch. And neither are you. All right? And those of you who are older than me, I can't speak for you. Because I'd probably just say, if I was younger, like you wouldn't say that if you were older, da-da-da-da-da. And it's all relative. It's all relative. I call bullshit because I think the same thing to people younger than me. I think, if only I was 18, 19, I had the world as my oyster and I do all these things differently. We're always going to think that, aren't we? I'm going to think that the people younger, people 35 are going to look at me right now and think, you got nothing to be complaining about. You're still in control. People that are 50 are going to look at people in their 40s. All right? Because there are things that you can't change, ultimately. But there are always things that we can change as well. And that's what we got to focus on here. So I think about where I'm going to go moving forward. Because Walmart, this Walmart I'm working on, it's a neighborhood Walmart. It's not bad. Okay? I'm friendly with my coworkers. I chat the shit. It's a pretty autonomous job. But ultimately, myself, what I expect of myself, the life I want for myself isn't here. Isn't in Walmart. So moving forward, I don't have some grand plan. I don't have some great wisdom to give you based off of all the success, all of the turbulence I've gone through in life. Because I guarantee the people watching have probably been through way worse shit than I have. I know it's not a dick measuring contest, but it can feel like that sometimes. It can feel like you're not allowed to share your story if you haven't been through shit. So just sit down, buckle up your bootstraps, and don't complain, motherfucker. All right? And I'm not here to complain. I'm here to tell you guys what I'm telling myself. Don't worry about the past so much. Think about the things of the past that brought you to where you are today. And moving forward, think, what can I do? If I'm me working at Walmart, what can I do outside of my career? Because ultimately, I can apply, I can do this, I can do that. But me getting employed is outside of my control. What I mean by that is the person's decision to hire me is outside of my control. What's in my control is how much effort I put into putting myself out there, but it's out of my control. So what can I do outside of career? What can I live by in a way that I can approve of myself? And meditating on that is what I'm going to leave us off on. Okay? Peace out, guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. And if you aren't going to have a wonderful rest of your week, then go fuck yourself. Because what's the alternative?